I'm Yoni Salminen. Here are my co-authors, Soon, Joa, Ahmed, and Jim. So our work was about the effect of different image styles on user perception of personas. So this is about the design of different persona profiles. Persona is a fictitious person that describes a real user group. And basically we conducted an experiment. We had 6 different levels of pictures. So we created persona profiles and we changed the pictures in the profiles, but we kept all the other information identical. And we had 3 baseline personas: Ashley, which you can see on the top line, then Chris, who you can see in the middle, and then Agung on the bottom. So these personas varied a little bit by gender and ethnic background, and we also observed some differences along those lines that you can read more about in the paper. So basically, we go from less realistic, which is on the right side, pictures to more realistic pictures. So at the very extreme, you have these symbols that don't have even gender representation that we call gender neutral. Then you have silhouette figures that show a gender but do not show a face or any skin tone or anything like that. Then you have these simple cartoons or symbolic cartoons that do show a little bit more, like the skin tone and some clothes and so on, but they don't show a face or facial expression. So they're a little bit less human-like. And then you have this HC, human like cartoons, which show a face. So you can see the face. And then RC means realistic cartoon, which is again more realistic, more human-like expressions of the face. And finally, the real pictures of the personas. So we showed this in an experiment to more than 100 participants who saw the personas, and then they were asked different questions about the personas. And we had several hypotheses, and we measured the different perceptions. Persona perception scale is the instrument that we used. So we measured the impact of the perceived picture realism on various perceptions, and we observed that it does matter quite a bit. So the clarity of the persona profile increased with the picture realism. Also the completeness, which means people found the persona profiles to be more informative when the picture was perceived more realistic. The consistency was also higher. So consistency means that the information in the persona profile was the different information was not considered inconsistent, but more consistent when the picture was really realistic. And also the persona was considered more credible and empathetic when the picture was more realistic. So in general, for persona design, these results imply that more realistic pictures in the persona profiles are better in general. We also found that the users were giving higher personality ratings to personas with more realistic pictures. So we measured the personality ratings with the Big 5 personality framework. Finally, we also found evidence of the uncanny valley effect, which implies that which means that as we go more towards realistic pictures, there's this valley effect that you can see in the RC. The average scores tend to drop. So the realistic pictures have the highest scores, but then the human-like cartoons, which are less realistic than the realistic cartoons, actually have on aggregate higher scores, which is quite interesting. And in some cases, in general, having no picture at all, we tested such an treatment as well. So in general, it is better to have a picture. So the NP there in this figure is the no picture version. So it has second lowest score, but the gender neutral picture has lower aggregate score. So that is not a suitable version, or we don't recommend it. And in general, it's good to have some picture rather than no picture at all. So that summarizes our findings. Thank you.